Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Outlive the Labels. This is kicking off season 3, y'all, so I hope that you're ready. I have so many amazing interviews lined up, but the first one out the gate is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. I know that you're going to be encouraged by this. We are interviewing today Alvin Hope Johnson. He is in the studio today, and I know that his story is going to encourage you, so buckle up and get ready to hear his journey to success. Welcome to the show, Alvin Hope Johnson. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak today and share this with the audience, your amazing story.
Well, Dr. Mary, first, thank you for the opportunity. I was grooving to your intro. I didn't want it to stop. So you did a great job with that.
Thank you. That's how I felt when I first heard it. Look, I played it probably, I don't know how many times I played it. I was just jamming to it. But yeah, I absolutely love it. Thank you again to Terry Smalls for singing that intro for me. Listen, today I'm excited about this interview because when I heard your story, I knew there was something more to you. I had reached out to you to interview you for my magazine, Style and Grace. But when I heard more of your story, I said, I knew there was something about this man. And your journey has not been easy, but it is so inspiring and so encouraging. So we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to tell the audience just a little bit about you, but I want to hurry up and hear you speak. So listen, guys, Alvin Hope Johnson, he's been in the real estate industry for over 35 years. He started out as a handyman, selling paintings and repair services door to door. And he grew his entrepreneurial skills into an empire. And he currently serves as the president of Hope Housing Foundation, an affordable housing company. Now, you're going to hear more about him, but Alvin, first, take us back into your childhood and what was your upbringing like? What was your childhood like, and what were some of the experiences that you had coming up?
I'll tell you, the first few years of my life, my mom and dad were both present until I was probably about 11 years old. So, you know, we had the little house with the 2 kids and the brick house, and, you know, mom and dad were both teachers. And that, you know, that sounded really good on the outside, but man, I'll tell you, the inside of the house, he was horrendous to my mom. And one day he came home and beat her and left. And shortly thereafter, you know, mom used to go play bridge in the neighborhood, and I was molested as a very young boy, you know, somewhere about 9-10 years old. And so the storybook childhood came to an abrupt ending for me. You know, I was a kid that always had big dreams, and I used to dream of being an astronaut and driving a truck and owning a race car and all that kind of stuff. And for so many years after that, I didn't have any more dreams. I didn't really know how to respond to that. My hero left me. He didn't leave my mom, so I had abandonment issues as a kid because dad left early. And yeah, it was not. And you know, Mary, I don't even really remember that event. I mean, I remember it today, but I can tell you shortly thereafter, some way or another, God erased that from my memory until I was about 38 years old. And I think that was a protection mechanism that he equipped me with that allowed me to go on. Now, I can tell you I probably had a lot of trauma and shrapnel because of that, because of the way my life turned out after the next, you know, through my early 20s and 30s, and probably some of the ways I act today could be directly correlated to that. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And my own experience has been the same. Like I truly believe that it was a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise, the coping mechanism that I had, where I just poured myself into my work to overcome some of the childhood memories that weren't going to serve me during my time of coming up. Like there were certain things that didn't come back to me until years later. And I truly believe that was just a covering and a protection during that time. So I can definitely relate to that. And it helps us to get through life. And, you know, sometimes people look back and you wonder, like, how in the world did I make it out of that? How did I not break down? And so this journey, like I said, you know, I know that you're no stranger to the struggle on the way to success, you know.
No.
So after high school, you know, you wound up having a great opportunity to do something that actually opened up the door to some amazing things and where you are now. So tell us about your journey beyond high school and how that started for you getting into the real estate industry.
Sure. Well, right after high school, I was married at that time, and my then mother-in-law got me a job with her friend that used to paint houses. So right after high school, I went into the house painting business as a apprentice that they used to throw in the closet and say, "Hey, man, figure it out." We were doing 15,000 square foot homes back then in the 80s, worth a lot of money. So these houses were kind of like what you would believe that very wealthy people live in today. And so after a couple of years of that, he went out of business, and I still needed to eat and feed my family. So I started knocking on doors and tell people, "I'll paint your house for $200 if you'll buy the paint." I knocked on the right door, and this gentleman was a general contractor doing a hotel renovation, turning it into a senior living facility. So I quickly that day became his painting contractor, and that multi-million-dollar contract netted me over $1 million net cash in my account by the time I was probably 21 to 22 years old.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
went
whoa.
on.
Stop right there. Wait a minute. By the time you're 21, you have
Yeah,
already made over $1 million
net.
net. Now, okay, let's just let that sink in. Wow. So you must have felt like you were at the top of you were on the top of the world, right?
Man, I wonder why everybody else was so stupid. Like this money came this easy and I got it like this, and y'all worrying about how much bread costs. I didn't understand that.
Absolutely.
Well, guess what happens? A fool and his money are quickly parted. And not to mention that was probably one of the worst times in real estate history. 1986, 87, 88, interest rates were 18, 19%, 22% in some instances. So quickly after I finished that job, we couldn't find any construction work because nobody was building or repairing anything. Interest rates were too high. So my savings lasted us a little while. I don't know how long, but not long. By the time my son was 3 years old, on his third birthday, I couldn't even buy him a Hot Wheel car for breakfast. For his birthday. I remember opening the cabinet that morning and going, "Well, this is the last supper," but it was breakfast. That's what I thought to myself because I was still stupid. And but it literally was the last meal in the house. We were being put out of our house that day. The lights were going to be scheduled to be cut off. So it was really just not a great day on his birthday, his third birthday. So I kissed my wife and sent her off to work, and she took little Alvin around the corner to the daycare, and I went around the other corner to my in-laws' house and thought it'd be a great idea to put a 38 to my head. Pulled the trigger a couple of times. The gun didn't go off until I dropped it. And then I took a bottle of nitroglycerin pills, and I thought, man, this will work. I know this one pill will make your heart blow up, so probably 200 or 300 of them will probably work. So I took that whole bottle of pills, and I remember lying on the couch before I went to sleep. My mom was a school teacher, and I never, ever called her at work. Ever, never. You don't do that. And I called her that day, and she, of course, was in a class. So one of the ladies in the administrative office went down and told my mom I had called. So I guess that put my mom on alert. But anyway, I laid down on that couch and said, "God, man, if you have a purpose for my life, then I'm sorry for what I've just done. And if you don't, please have mercy on me. I heard it's kind of hot down there." So 10 days later, I guess mom came. She found me. I remember somebody tearing my shirt open. It's the last thing I remember. And then 10 days later, I woke up in intensive care, man. And my initial thought was waking up, raising up, and looking around to see where I was. And I said, "Man, you are a freaking loser. You couldn't even kill yourself." So that was that initial thought. And I don't know how long I stayed in the hospital after that. I think I had an experience in MHMRA for a couple of days because they wanted to make sure, suicide attempt, let's throw him in a padded room and, with some people that got on straight jackets. And if he ain't crazy, he will be, or he will know he's not. So after about 10 days, I think I got out of that thing. And man, as I tell this story more and more, I start to remember more of it. And I remember having to go to court because they were trying to make me a ward of the state. I remember that. I remember that just the other day. And I remember that judge saying, no, I don't think he's that far gone. We're going to give him a shot. And that was the second time a judge gave me a shot. The first time a judge gave me a shot, I think I was about 14, 15 years old, hanging out with my stepbrothers, and they went and did some crazy stuff in the back. And I was in the back seat of my car, passed out, high, and woke up in jail and went through all of this stuff, man. And I remember going to court, and the judge said, man, there's just something about you, but I'm going to give you a shot. So I had 2 shots with a judge, and I don't think I need any more. But it's been a ride. So here I am.
I can only imagine. Wow. So you're all too familiar with the power of second chances.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm such a proponent of giving people a second chance. I'm very short on excuses, so I'm not going to give anybody a second chance that just wants a free ride. But for somebody that truly wants it, I'm all about that.
Yes, absolutely. And now you guys.
I never thought about it that way. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah.
Never thought about it.
Yeah, based on your experiences, I can see now not only why you're so big on spreading hope. That's the obvious thing. But giving people a chance, that's been a key part of your story. You have been given chances, not just by God, but through people, through the judge, through 2 judges. 2 judges gave you that second chance. And so I guess you could say second and third chance, I guess you could say. But we're grateful to have you here because I know that so many people listening, you've gone through some trials and some setbacks in life, and people that are listening, you've gone through, all of the different roller coaster rides that you can think of in life where you've had the ups and downs. Life happens to everybody. Everybody has a story. But when you realize that there's someone who made it out, they made it to the other side, they were able to experience the sweet victory of success and all of that good stuff, that your day is coming too. There's hope for you as well. That's why I like to share my testimony. That's why I'm so big on sharing my story, because it's so much bigger than us, right? It's so much bigger experience that we were able to go through. It's about us reaching back and using that process to help somebody else, because they see the outcome, right? They see they see the success story. They see the real estate mogul, Alvin Johnson. They see, the millionaire, billionaire Alvin Johnson. They see the many things that you've been able to achieve, but now we get to see a part of that process. So tell us where you are now and all the amazing things that you're doing, because the empire that you have built, it is just mind blowing, and it's so inspiring. And yeah, so tell us where you are now and the amazing things you've been able to go on to accomplish, and how you got there, because I know there's a story within that story. So share with us a little bit about that.
Well, fast forward from the days of trying to hurt myself to getting back into the construction business back in the early 90s, and in 96 opening my first mortgage company. Running 2 very successful mortgage companies up until 2007. And in 2007, I had an opportunity to meet a guy that owned 16,000 units of apartments. And he told me he would mentor me and help me. So the first 3 weeks after meeting him, he gave me some homework and we met, and then he would answer my calls. By week number 4, he wouldn't answer my calls anymore. So I kept calling, and I called or text or email or something every week for about a year. It was literally about 11 and a half months. He finally picked up the phone and said, Alvin Johnson, man, I'm tired of you calling me. You are the most tenacious person I've ever seen. Everybody says they want it, but nobody's willing to do the work. If you want to know what we do, you can come up here to Amarillo, Texas, and stay up here for 30 days. I'll put you up. And so I got the biggest suitcase I could find and went there. And that 30 days turned into 13 months. He became a very good friend of mine, a father figure, even though he was only about 12 years older than me. He allowed me into the board meetings of this $1 billion plus company. I traveled with him on the private planes and went all over the country, and just an amazing opportunity to see how a nonprofit organization operated 16,000 units of apartments. Well, 13 months to the day he died, and I became the president of that foundation. And for 2 years, I sat there and directed the operations while we walked it through a bankruptcy. And it was a successful bankruptcy because we got all of the properties repositioned and then sold off. And that's really how I learned the back end of this business from some $1,000 an hour attorneys. I didn't go to Harvard, but all the guys that sat next to me did. And so after that, then I got fired again. So imagine that, from one pinnacle to the next. Like, okay, God, now what? Nobody's gonna hire me. You know, I've been president of a bankrupt company, even though I didn't do it. Guilty by association. And so I was given an opportunity to take over Hope Housing Foundation. It was not that back then. It had another name. We constituted a board, put it in place, and then changed the name to Hope Housing Foundation and said we're going to go buy a whole bunch of apartments. And today we only own 1,000 plus units, but we're on the path to doing 20,000 units of new builds over the next 5 years. So that's the exciting part.
Wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So listen, if you're listening and you aren't already inspired to go out and chase after your dreams, do everything that you said you wanted to do in life, snatch those things off your vision board, go after it, no matter the obstacles you face, no matter what setbacks you have. I don't know what to tell you. You should be inspired by now hearing this interview, because there's so much encouragement and hope just hearing him speak. Now, listen, Alvin, I think it's self-explanatory.
I'm laughing about that vision board. I remember having a vision board when I first moved to Dallas, and it had a refrigerator on it. It had a checkbook on it because I couldn't get a checking account. It had a washer and dryer on it. The refrigerator I was using was one of those little college fridges, a little one. In this big 5,000 square foot house that I bought with no money, no credit. And that's how I started over when I moved to Dallas. So it's just been an amazing opportunity to live in this body.
What I love about what you just said is people need to be reminded, because, of course we have those high aspirations, having Oprah interviews on our vision board and things like that. And number one New York Times bestseller. But sometimes you have to remember that some of those small things that you want, those seemingly small things, don't wait until you have like the high aspirations, so to speak, by society standards. If your dream right now, if your goal right now is to get out of a studio apartment into a one bedroom, then put that on your vision board. If your vision right now is to go from a college dorm little small refrigerator and get a Samsung,
a double wide, a double door. Yeah.
Start where you are. Listen, I'm the type of person where, look, just until last year, I didn't get the appliances that I really wanted. I had to wait for that thing. We were remodeling the house, and so we didn't have a lot of the appliances and things like that we wanted yet because we had nowhere to put it, to be honest. So, when we built the kitchen, there were certain things that I wanted. And, if that's where you are, where, the things that you want don't seem like those usual, vision board items, so to speak, you visualize what you want, wherever it is that you want to be. Go ahead and go after that thing, because listen, I just got inspired by that. I got to remember some of the seemingly small things that I want in my future, so I can put those on my vision board too. Listen, I'm so glad that you said yes to this interview, because we're not only going to have you on the podcast channels and all of that good stuff. For those of you listening on the YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's not too late to do that. Or, or as soon as this is over, you can hit the subscribe button and go to our podcast channels and subscribe and leave reviews there as well. But he is going to be in Style and Grace magazine, a feature in our next issue. So I'm so excited just to get more people out there hearing your story and knowing your journey, because this is something that I believe, there's so many people that that's right. They need to remember to despise not small beginnings, like somebody just commented. Thank you for that, Shamika. We need to remember that everything has a process. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. And your journey, Alvin, has been so encouraging. So share with the listeners where they can find out more about you, where they can find more about your company, where they can find out more about the foundation and the amazing things that you're doing there, how can they follow you on all the social media and all of that good stuff?
Before I say that really quickly, one of the things you talked about, second chances, we're talking about one of the things that I'm really passionate about now is the introduction or the exposure to multifamily investing. Everybody drives down the freeway and they see this big old apartment complex being built and they go, man, I wish I could be a part of that. So the things that we're doing today are we giving people opportunities to be a part of some city changing, life changing, wealth changing opportunities. That's what we're doing. When I said 20,000 units in 5 years, that's huge. But the only way we're going to do that is through strategic partnership and group economics with everybody that wants to be a part of or have a part of the true American dream of establishing wealth. So thank you for letting me tell you that. The way anybody can reach me is real simple. I have a digital card, and you can get there by going to alvin10k.com. That's alvin10k.com. That digital card will take you to my website. It'll take you to all of our courses. We've got some live events going on in Atlanta and in January, another place that's undisclosed right now. So that digital card will tell you everything about me, all the courses that we offer through our education platform, which is Multifamily Monopoly. So that's it. One spot, one call to action, alvin10k.com.
Alvin10k.com. All right, listen, that should have stuck in your mind. It's easy to remember, alvin10k.com. So go ahead and look at that digital business card, get all the information that you need to follow him on social media, find out more about the foundation, find out about the business. And thank you for bringing up the subject matter of group economics, because a lot of people listening may, you might have thought about this, or you might have seen it in the news or seen, read about it, heard about things like this, but never thought you could participate in something like it. This man is making it happen, and he is making it possible for people like us to be able to jump in, dive right in, and be a part of something major. So don't think it's so far out of your reach that you can't do something like this. Be encouraged. He's bringing hope. We didn't have a chance to get into it, but I was going to ask you, when did you start using the hope as the middle name, so to speak? But I will make sure that I, get that information from you and add it to the article. So y'all going to have to tune in to the part 2, reading the article. You're going to have to read the article to find out some more about this awesome individual right here, this awesome human being. Alvin, you have been an amazing guest on this show. Outlet the Labels is all about bringing hope and encouragement. You fit that bill to the max. So thank you once again for being with us today. We hope that you, the listener, have enjoyed what you have heard and you have been inspired and you are encouraged to go on and do some amazing things in your own life. Again, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast channels, leave a review, share this with your friends and your followers so that we can continue to bring you some more great content and some more guests. Again, this is the beginning of season 3. We're kicking it off with Alvin Hope Johnson. All right, I hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time.
Dream on, dreamer.